Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to be learning some new stuff while also diving into industrial foregoing, getting ourselves some plastic process. So I hope you guys are ready. So jumping in today, I have a lot I want to do. I've gone ahead and made these rooms, and like I said last episode, I want to get into the industrial foregoing mod. There's a lot to it, a lot of stuff that we can get done, and also I mentioned there'd probably be a few babies here. And look, they've already started breeding, and they had twins. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, industrial foregoing is what we're going to do, but I'm going to try and include the create mod a little bit into this. So I should be able to set up a potential deployer. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, and the deployer is going to be able to feed my setup wood, because we need to first make plastic. That is the big part of industrial foregoing. So we need to go ahead and make ourselves a couple of fluid extractors. This is what we're going to use in order to make latex. This is going to pull from trees. Now this does use power. This is power optional. You can see right here, it will go faster if we have power. I'm not so worried about getting power to this as much as I'm worried about getting power to the latex processing unit, which this does require it, and it also requires a bucket of latex. Now, that is going to speed up the process, right? We will have this sped up, but to get it started, all we got to do is feed it some wood. That's kind of where I want to set this up. If I go ahead and place this, I'm so used to holding shift to reverse that. If I go ahead and place this and I get myself a log ready, also check our fuel. Yeah, because I figure we were getting probably close to running out. There we go. If I take my spruce log here and I place it down, these are going to start working. They're going to do a process, and you're going to see a tiny little amount of latex slowly start to build up in this. Yes, it looks like it's doing 2 millibuckets every process time, which is 100 ticks, I think. So yeah, but it will use a 500 RF, which isn't much. This uses very little. I do have a cable over here, a relay, in which I could, I guess, hook this up, technically. So just to temporarily get it running and get it running quickly, I think I'm going to go ahead and hook this up. I did run my wire from my water wheel, so this is coming all the way from over there. This is how I'm getting the power. By the way, oh, now I'm taking damage from the power lines. That's the first time I started taking damage. I guess they need to be a certain length. I have no idea. Oh, all right. So I'll place this on here, and then we can get that hooked in. Perfect. These are connectors. These are relays. Relays allow you to transfer power. And as you can see, now it has power, and it's working a bit faster. So it's also going to consume this log. So I want something to be set up that can automatically place a log. That's going to be a setup in itself. So there is something in Create called a deployer. Now I'm thinking I could probably place the deployer like this. Am I gonna? Yeah, I'm gonna take some damage. I might need to break these temporarily till we get this set up. But if I use a fan and I have a vertical gearbox goes here, fan will go here, and then a magma block will go down here. This should be enough to power this deployer, and then we just need to specify into this deployer what we want it to place, and it should be enough to place it every time this block breaks. So to get this working, let's try and do this. Like I said, I might have to break these just so I don't get zapped every time by the power. And surprisingly, I'm not getting zapped by standing on the magma block. Okay, there's the fan. Now, of course, this needs a lever in order to activate it. I'm going to break this. We're just kind of like breaking down the entire setup that I had going. A lever going into that. We're going to get some small amount of crank power going on here. And then I have a vertical gearbox that I can place. And now this deployer should work. So if I place this, you can see the deployer is already technically deploying. I don't really want it to. At least I don't want it to place at the moment. Okay, so it's up at the top. Let's go ahead and tell it, all right, I want you to place spruce logs. So to do that, I have to click on it. And right here is a filter slot. So if you did have this hooked to an inventory, this could actually pull from that. But we can give it actually a stack of logs. Let's give it oak logs, like a whole stack of oak logs. That would probably be better. Can I take that out of its hand? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if I place this in its hand, you can see that it is going to work. All I got to do is close this back up, flip this on, and this is going to constantly go. And what it should do is it should place a log here as soon as it drops down, maybe? Or do I have to... Maybe it's after its next go around. Maybe, or does it have to be taller? I wonder if it has to be higher up one. So I've ended up placing this up higher, and will it work now? What are you doing? There it goes. Okay, so now as you've seen, it placed the block like it's supposed to, because it's a block placer. And now we can let this do its thing. And I guess I'm going to have to send the power to this a little bit differently this go around. Luckily, we can actually split this up. So at the moment, if I have this open, what I can do is I can split these wires into two and then just run two separate wires to each one. This one's going to be probably blocked, so I am going to have to clear out a little bit more of this area. But hey, this is early game power. What are you gonna do, right? I mean, this is all we got, so I'm gonna make do with what I do have. It does look like I am going to have to make some more LV wire coils, though. That is a thing. So just to make this look a little bit better, I decided to go ahead and make some LV capacitors. This is going to help me. I can go ahead and say this is going to be the input, and then this side is going to be output, and then we just carry the signal this way, as you can see. I'm going to use these. They're going to go on both sides, and then we're just going to change up how this is connected here. Instead of it being connected to a wire relay, we're going to have this now connected to connectors. So the connectors, as I've said before, they sort of send power, whereas the relays let you just move it around. So right here, I am going to need some more wire connectors to be able to hook them to the actual extractors themselves. So once we go to process our latex, we are going to need water. Because the mixture is going to require some sort of water source. And to get that, well, we have a fluid pump. Now, the fluid pump is really, really great. However, it does require some power. So I do have an LV connector here. So we should be able to set this up back behind here. Even more stuff to put behind the scenes. But this definitely is going to go in here, because I think right here, I'm probably going to have the processor. So what I can do is I can just pipe underneath here. Underneath all of this stuff, I can just go ahead and pipe the water. So we are going to need an infinite source. So we could just simply do a little area like this and then make the middle the infinite source. And inside here, we should be able to place the pump. Now, the pump actually sets, I believe, one block above like this. And then we just basically need to define where it goes. And then as you can see on the top, it's got a slot for power. So if we try to not get electrocuted... all this stuff, we should be able to hop in here, and then we should be able to hook directly in to this. So now this is powered, and what we need to do is tell it over here that it needs to pull out with a pipe. You can see right here, it's a fluid input. This is output. Now the bottom is going to be a fluid input, as you can see. So it should be able to pump the water out as we feed it to it. But that's, yeah, as soon as I get a bucket, we'll test it out. So as you can see, it does have the area available here. So what I'm going to do is connect to it just like this with the actual item pipe. Now, just to test this out, because I think I'm going to probably place this down right here. So that way it blocks the water. Perfect. And then carries on. Might have to make some more pipe. I don't know. Oh, no, I should be fine. Just like that. One more. Perfect. Now, if I place this tank here, it should fill up, right? Wrong, because we actually need to use a lever. Seems like everything needs to be activated with a lever. This is one of the things that does require a lever, and I have found myself even being confused, going, hey, how come this isn't filling with water? Oh yeah, that's right, because I forgot to give it a redstone signal. So, as you can see, the tank is now filling with water, which is great, because that is what I want it to do to the machine that is eventually going to go either right here or right there. The other machine is also going to need some power, so yeah, we're probably going to end up changing the way our power system works. So now that we have an entire bucket of latex built up in here, we can now start processing the latex, because we needed this for the crafting recipe in the first place. So the latex processing unit, as you can see, pretty simple to make, and we have just about everything we need other than this beautiful bit, and bam, latex processing unit. Now, we also need to get fluid moving around. And I think one of the best ways, I don't want to step into mechanism this early, but we are going to touch just a tad on mechanism. In normal cases, you probably wouldn't be able to do this without fully getting into a little bit of mechanism, simply because of the need of a configurator. But in this case, I think we'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and make a mechanical pipe. It's going to require some steel that we've already made, simply because we've been in immersive and they're kind of or dictionary, but we can kind of move this over here. So if I place the latex processing unit, you can see it's going to fill up now with water. And I believe I still have this turned on, or did I turn it? I turned it off. Okay. So now this is going to continue to fill up with water. Perfect. But we also need to give it power. And I've kind of moved my power setup a little bit over here to kind of make way for that. So all we got to do is apply this. So now it has power. Now we need to get latex to it. Well, latex is going to come from here. And luckily they've changed the way that the industrial foregoing machines work. And I love this. I love this. It's made it so much easier. What we can do is I can just send this over like this. And normally I would have to configure this to be set to pull with a configurator. But I believe I can just set this to push. Now, this is not the face, I do believe. I don't know which side is what, to be honest. I think this is the left side. So if we go to the left side, we can have it push. And if that's the right side, I don't know if the left, well, let's try the right. There we go. Okay, so it's the right. So if we have this set to do that, as you can see, it's just going to automatically push through the pipe, which is perfect. Same for this. We need to set this one, which if that one was right, this one is probably left to push. So you should see now that's empty. And thankfully they can push now and pull. Oh, it's so much nicer. And what we're going to get is the tiny dry rubber. This is going to be used to make dry rubber. And then the dry rubber can be smelted down into plastic. And plastic is used to make a ton of really awesome stuff. Not to mention, I think there is a backpack mod in here that is very reminiscent of the industrial. So later on down the road, we can technically get ourselves an infinity backpack. Now, I have looked at other backpack options. We do have the cork backpack. That's about it. There's not much in here as far as backpacks go. So this is an option. There is the capacitor backpack, which kind of gives you power as you walk around, but I haven't really seen it really other than mechanism stuff that would need this and or the actual tools that we have in the first place. But these backpacks, I mean, they seem pretty cool. They use biofuel. And we don't have biofuel yet. So, I mean, that's something we can work towards, though. Maybe like, Chosen, what do you mean we don't have biofuel? You have biofuel. No, well, we have biodiesel. We don't have biofuel. I believe they are two separate things in this pack. Even though, I mean, hey, I wish it would work back, cross compatible. That would be really nice. But it doesn't. But man, this backpack does look like a really interesting thing to get into. So another block we're going to end up needing definitely through this mod is going to be the Disillusion Chamber. And yes, it is going to disillusion things. That's what it does. But we're going to use it basically as a way of crafting different machine frames. You can see the simple machine frame requires a Disillusion Chamber. Yeah, it's not too hard to get set up. But for this machine, you do need at least 2 pieces of plastic to make it. And, we're also going to need a bucket, apparently. An extra bucket. Nice. All right. So with all this crafted, we have this machine now. This one's also going to need power. I think I'm going to kind of throw this one to the side for right now. It does need power, but it also needs fluid latex. So it's going to be another one of those machines that we probably want to have hooked over here just so it can fill up. It's going to split this way, but yeah, I kind of want it to fill up with this. And we also need some power to get to it. So I kind of want to upgrade this furnace, right? This thing is pretty pitiful. So I mean, I'm doing all of this honestly to just upgrade a furnace. No, I have plans later on, but for right now, definitely upgrading our power supply to our controller is going to be a good option. Now, I could route this over there, but this is currently probably taking up quite a bit of the current 88 RF per tick that it is generating. Plus, if I ever need to make more biodiesel, I'm not going to be able to do so because I won't have enough power. So with this, let's go ahead and make a furnace generator. This right here, I need to, or for that, I need to make a simple machine frame. As you can see, it's going to require this and also 250 millibuckets of latex, in which we have just enough in there for that. So let's go ahead and let me make sure that I got the format right. I don't know if it matters. I don't think it does matter which way you put this in, but once you put it in, as you can see, it's going to start processing, uses a little bit of power, and we are going to get ourselves a simple machine frame in which we can use to make several of these different generators and or machines later on. This is just sort of a process that you have to go through in order to make any of the machines from Industrial Foregoing. So with this setup, now that we have the simple machine frame and a few blocks of coal, we can now make ourselves a furnace generator, which is going to be a lot better than this puny thing that we have here. Now, I believe this one though, it requires coal, and I don't think it can accept other things, but as you can see, we do have some different tooltips. Hopefully this thing allows me to change it up. Let's get some coal before we run out of power altogether. And when I place this in here, hopefully that it will shut off. Tooltip for facing. This allows us to automate this so we can pull items out. I don't know though if this one's still lever controlled. That is a thing that I would love it to be. So it definitely lasts a lot longer, like our coal lasts, and it generates 80 RF. So pretty much this generator is generating almost as much RF as our water wheel setup, but this one does require a fuel in its place, and it does not seem to be redstone controlled, which is unfortunate. But if you do remember, you can also throw a lever on here and then control that from there. I do think though, if this is the case, this up here, when it does reach max power, it should stop consuming coal. I would hope because this did cost a lot to make. Let's just hope that that's the case. So when it does reach max power, it does stop consuming fuel. Thankfully, that is a nice thing. So this, in my opinion, is now worth it entirely for this entire setup over here. Just makes things a little bit nicer. So since we already have a mining drill, and I mean, why don't we just go ahead and upgrade? Like, we have a mining drill, we have the ability to refuel these machines with biodiesel. Why don't we go ahead and make a buzzsaw? Like, it seems like a perfectly rash thing to do to me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Actually, I'm going to need, let's see, probably a few more of these, just to make this buzzsaw. Now I do see there's two different blades. We have a saw blade and a rock cutter. I am kind of interested in what the rock cutter can do. I don't know too much about that, but I would be pretty interested to see what it actually offers. And it should be an upgrading situation pretty similar to all the other stuff that we've done. So the actual saw blade itself, I do know that it can cut down a tree, right? But what can the rock cutter blade do? Like, does this mine? Like, is that what that does? I have no idea until I put this in here and we throw this blade in, right? So we now have the ability to cut down a tree. Let's go ahead and refuel this thing just by right-clicking on here. There we go. It's refueled. And I guess we can go chop some trees down after I sleep. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this thing to use. Let's see. Does it cut down the whole tree? Of course it does. Okay, so now that we know that this does that, let's go ahead and take a look at what it can do if we upgrade this with the other saw blade. Like, what is that going to do? Let's put this in here. We can take this blade out, put this blade in. So now this blade, it says Silk Touch. Wait, what? Does that say that is a Silk Touch tool? You're kidding. It is actually Silk Touch. Okay. And yes, it is actually silk touching tools. I didn't know that that was Silk Touch. It doesn't even tell you in the engineer's manual, I don't think. Okay. With that being a thing, I did see, which is kind of interesting, if I take this out, we can actually upgrade this. We can upgrade this rock cutter blade to be indestructible. We could put it in here, and as you can see, it can become indestructible. I don't know, though, if that means it will repair itself when we take it out and put it in our inventory, because the way the indestructible is kind of interesting. And we do have an indestructible tool available, or the ability to make one at the moment, but that's crazy. That's Silk Touch. Does that mean we can pick a spawner up with Silk Touch? Because, well, I mean, I guess we have a spawner we could try it out on, but would it be worth it? It's a blaze spawner. So the downside to this is if we break it and it doesn't give us the spawner, then we've technically lost on a blaze spawner that is pretty close. But if we do get it, hey, we get a localized blaze spawner from Apotheosis. It does say that Silk Touch is what we need to use in order to get it. It didn't say Silk Touch 2. I've played other packs with Apotheosis where you need something called Silk Touch 2. This seems to be Silk Touch is what it says, and I don't see any Silk Touch 2 enchantments in the pack. So hopefully this is the Silk Touch that it's talking about. This should work. This should 100% work. I hope. Fingers are crossed because I don't want to waste this spawner. But as you can see, this is how far away it is. Let's mine it. And it dropped. We have a spawner now from Apotheosis. Oh, and this is so nice. I was not expecting to do this today because I didn't know that this buzzsaw was an actual Silk Touch pick, or had the option to be a Silk Touch pick. What? I was just kind of looking through, like, and I seen the blade and I was like, well, what's the difference in the regular saw blade and this saw blade? Well, now you know. Now you know. If you didn't know, now you do. Just like me. I mean, with that, I don't even know what can top this. Like, we now have a spawner, which means potentially next episode, we need to work towards figuring out a way to make this blaze spawner an XP farm / also a potential farm for other things, because once we get the capturing enchant, we should be able to, farm mobs and be able to get eggs and just pretty much create any mob farm we want. That is going to be where this pack kind of blossoms, I think. Apotheosis has a really good way of doing that. Like, it is such a underrated mod, but here recently I found that it's the only kind of mob spawner mod that has been in a lot of packs. It can get incredibly powerful. I've seen it used to cripple my subservers. Unfortunately, those people, well, they're no longer on the subservers, but I have seen some incredible, crazy spawners that are so fast that nothing I've seen can keep up, including our own server commands. So with all that being said, I think it's the perfect time to head on over to sponsorship, which I think you guys have now coined that term. This has now become sponsorship. So this mast is forever going to continue to fill up. But today I have a special thanks to give to one of our Patreons, and that is going to go to Goofball. And actually, I need to make this thing go up. Let's go ahead and do that. It's going to go to Goofball and that good old and sign and Daddy. That was a special request that I definitely had to do. Thank you guys for being Patreons, and just thank you for watching the videos all together. I really do appreciate you guys. And if you guys are also interested in becoming Patreons yourself, of course you can find that linked down in the description below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it was a bit interesting and crazy, and we got a lot of cool stuff done, but if you would, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Of course, I'll see you in the next episode. Well, if you'll be there. And as always, thanks for watching.